Next line. I feel him warm, but how can he or make it day or night? So here the boy put the question again for us. He says, how can the sun make day or night? Okay, and he says, how can the sun rise and how can the sun set? And he also says, you people, that is, he says the people around him, you people can see the process of rising the sun and setting down, but I cannot see the reality. So these are the wonderful things I would like to see, and these are the wonderful things I want to enjoy. So, but he says, I cannot do because I can only feel the warmth of it and I cannot see it. So I think you all understood that last two lines. It says that how can he or make it day or night. So here the poet is asking, the blind boy is asking, how can the sun make day or night? And he says the people can see the process of sunrise and sunlight and he cannot see because he is blind, but he can only enjoy the warmth of it. Okay, so that's the gist of the second paragraph. Okay, next, third paragraph. My day or night myself I make whenever I sleep or play. So here he says, my day, my night, myself I make. That means he says he makes his day and night. That means according to him, he will make according to his things day and night. So what does it mean? He says, whenever I feel like sleeping, okay, so when I sleep, it is night. And whenever I play, that means it is a daytime for him. So he says, I make my day and night. So whenever he feel like sleeping, that is night for him. And whenever he feel like playing, that means playing, it is a daytime for him. So he says, I make my day and night. I make, but for those who can see, that means the people who can see, for them the sun, that means the sun is rising and that is the daytime, and when the sun is setting, that is night for them. So you can see, that means he's saying the people, you can see the process of the sunrise and sunset, but I cannot see. Okay, so he says he makes the day, that is whenever he feel like sleeping, it is night for him, and whenever he is playing, it is a day for him. So the day and night he himself make, and according to his things he makes the day and night. Next two line. And could I ever keep awake, with me it were always day. So here the blind boy says, I cannot see the process of day and night. I cannot see what is happening in and around me. So I am assuming, that means I am assuming itself. If I could keep awake, with me, it were always daytime. So he says, if I ever keep awake, if he is awake ever, that is daytime for him. But for others, when they sleep, it is dark and it is night for him. But for me, it is I ever keep awake, and that is always day for him. So for the first time, that means here the blind boy is proud of his blindness. That means it says that he never feels guilty or he feels sorry for his condition. He feels proud of his condition. So in this stanza he says that is, he is happy with his condition, he is proud of his condition. So on the whole, what did we understand in this paragraph is that the blind boy says, my day, my night, myself I make, and when I play, it is a day for me, and when I sleep, it is a night for me. But for others, normally when you have dark around you, you sleep, that means you close your eyes and sleep, and in the daytime when you see light, and it's day for you. But for me, it's not like that. For me, I could make, which means I ever keep awake always, and with me it were always day. So he is proud of his blindness, and he never feels guilty, and he never feels sorry of his condition. Next paragraph. With heavy sigh, I often hear you mourn my helpless woe. Heavy sigh. Heavy sigh means people are talking about the sadness. That means they are expressing the sadness towards the blind boy. You mourn my helpless woe. Helpless woe means unlucky fellow. So here the boy says that with a lot of sadness, people around him, they mourn, they feel sorrow for his condition. They say that he is a poor boy, he cannot see, and I wish he could see. So like this you could see the people saying, looking at him. So they regret for his sorrow, they regret for his condition, and they call him also as a unlucky fellow. Okay, so I think you understood. With a heavy sigh, I often hear, that means with people around him, they say sadness, with the sadness, that he is an unlucky fellow. That means he is a blind boy and he cannot see, and they feel that I wish he could have seen. Okay, so they show the sorrow, they regret the sorrowness for his condition. Okay, so he says, in and around he can see the people talking about his sadness towards his bad condition and considering him as a not as a normal boy. Next line we'll see. But sure with patience I can bear a loss I never can know. So here he says he is consoling himself. But sure with patience I can bear a loss. So he is consoling himself. He says that I have the patience, I can bear. That means whatever he doesn't have, okay, he can bear it, because he don't know the loss properly, because he had been blind since from his birth. So he says, but sure with patience I can bear. So he says that I can bear with the patience. That means whatever he doesn't have, he can bear it. Okay, because he don't know the loss properly, because he has not seen anything since from his childhood. So I cannot compare my blindness with the people having the eyesight. So I think you all understood. With a heavy sigh I often hear you mourn my helpless woe, but sure with patience I can bear a loss I never can know. So it means that he says, in and around him, the people around him, they talk about his sadness. That means saying about his bad condition and considering him as not as a normal boy. But here the blind boy says that he has the patience to bear these things, because he had not seen, that means he had not undergone any loss, because he has not seen anything, and so he is not comparing his blindness with any other people who have a eyesight. And in the fourth stanza, a loss I never can know. So here the blind boy says that this is a loss, maybe, that is blind boy, that means people around him say that he's a poor boy, he's blind, and means they show mercy towards him. But here the blind boy says that this is a loss maybe for you, but for me it's not a loss, because he says actually I cannot see anything. If I have the chance of seeing, or if I had a sight for one day, then I could have said that I am an unlucky fellow. But I cannot have that blessing. That means he couldn't have that blessings. And I am in a situation. So the blind boy says, if he had the chance of seeing that day, and he could have said, okay, that is a loss for me. But today the situation is said that I don't know what is around me. I don't know how pleasant it is. And that's why with the patience I can hear all of your sigh. With the patience I can hear all of your mourning for me. I have a patience to hear, but I can never know this loss. So he says that I can never know this loss because I don't have the reality. I don't know the reality. I don't know the other side. I think you all understood. So he says that it may be a loss for you because he doesn't feel like that, because he's been blind since from the birth, and he doesn't know the pleasant things, and he doesn't know the things around him, and he did not have witnessed even one day with his eyesight the pleasant things around him. So he says it is not a loss for him because actually he cannot see anything. Okay, so that's why he has a patience for his people. It means whenever they say anything, he has a patience to hear, and he has a patience for mourning. That means for their mourning. But he says, I can never know the loss because I don't know the reality, and he doesn't know the other side of the condition. So last stanza we'll see. Then let not what I cannot have. Let not what cannot have. So my cheer of mind destroys. So here he says, the blind boy says that he don't want for me like that. That means allow me to be how I am. Okay, then let not what I cannot have. Don't keep on telling me that I am a blind. You cannot see. You are mourning for me. That's making me and feeling bad. Next line. My cheer of mind destroyed. So here the blind boy say to the people around him, don't spoil his mind. Don't spoil his happiness that he has in his mind, because he has a patience to bear a loss, and he doesn't know what is outside him, and he will be however he is, because so he is requesting the people do not disturb his happiness, and he is happy with whatever he is, okay, and that he has in his mind. So next line we will see, whilst thus I sing, I am a king, although a poor blind boy. Whilst means while, okay, while thus I sing, I am a king, although a poor blind boy. Here we can see the satisfaction, that is the blind boy is enjoying, that means feeling a satisfaction. Okay, he says, I sing, I am a king, although he is a poor, that means although I am a poor blind boy. So he is appreciating himself, he is feeling proud of himself, and he is very confident, and he says, thus I am a king, and though he is a poor blind boy. He says that he may be telling that I may be, that means certain things like he cannot see, he cannot appreciate in and around, and he cannot see the brightness, and he cannot really enjoy the things what he cannot. So all these things he says, I cannot, but I am still. So he says, though he cannot enjoy all these things, still he can say that he is a king. So he says, though he cannot enjoy all this brightness, and he cannot enjoy what is around, and he cannot appreciate the things around, still he says that I am a king, although a poor blind boy. So he says, even though I am a blind boy, not able to appreciate the things around, I consider that I am a king, that is myself is a king. So finally in the last paragraph we'll see that what it says. So the blind boy requests the people around him not to destroy his happiness by talking and mourning for the condition which he can never have. That means which he can never have his eyesight, right? So he says, do not mourn, do not feel sorry about his condition, and he asks them to let him, that means let him enjoy what he is having. And he says that I can sing, that means let him sing that I am a king of this little dark world, though in reality he is just a poor blind boy.